people here today. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
So I was thinking to reformat the thing. I think some things we can move over very fast. You don't have to. Let's go vote no on. I don't need to talk about that or. So this was the Hammersmith to Chiswick walk. Agreed.
It was a good walk.
It was a good walk. If you were a dog, you would have. If you were a dog, you would have wagged a tail.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a treacherous walk.
What was treacherous?
What? I'm thinking about the point where we went off fucking course.
Oh,
That happened twice.
Yeah.
that wasn't treacherous, though, was it?
Well,
Just
no, not really.
exhausting.
No, not in retrospect, it was fun, but at the time it seemed a bit. I don't know. I felt I was getting
It
angry.
was kind of exhausting, but
Yeah, I mean, it could be shorter.
Well, it was only so long because we did that second wrong turning was quite a long wrong turning.
Yeah.
I think those walks are very long anyways. Even if we're not doing those turnings, it's still a bit long.
But we did do those wrong turnings. One was your fault, Panos, and the other one was mine. I'll take the blame for the second one.
I don't take any blame for anything.
Well, essentially, it's all my fault because it was my idea. So, that makes sense.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Overall, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Good. So, it started at this Hammersmith Bridge here, didn't it?
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna try something else here. I need to. It won't do that. So there's the bridge, where you can see that on the right hand side, and then we went. Oops. Damn. Look. This is the Lower Mall that we were directed to.
Mhm.
See that? This guy. He wasn't there. This fella.
Grimaldi.
No, this chap on the leaning against the wall.
And seeing this kind of photographs here, I'm glad that we did it at night. Actually,
yeah,
mm.
much more atmospheric than it looks there.
Yes.
So that's a vote for more walks at night, then.
Definitely.
Yes.
And
Me
also,
too.
I don't know what to do at the evenings, like because I don't like going for fucking bars and spend lots of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
So then,
Richard, can we, or can you, like I mentioned before, also record the audio whilst we're actually walking? I know a lot of it will have to be scrapped, but I think it'd be good to do that as well as to have the Zoom afterwards.
Or maybe while we walk, you can pass the mic to each one of us and kind of say something about it, or you can just kind of.
Yeah.
You don't have to continuously, record.
Yeah. It could be done sort of, casually, not in a formal, stilted way, because then I think it'd be intercut with the Zoom meeting calls. But then I'm often finding I'm racking my brain to remember the names of things several days later.
okay. Well, we will definitely try that for the next one. Okay. So there you go. The Lower Mall. This stretch of the riverbank is known for its many rowing and sailing clubs. shortly on the right hand side, look out for number 6. This. Look. It's got a large window there. That's the rowing club.
Mhm.
It's a modest.
Minister.
Do we want to talk about a rowing club? Not much, to be honest. I don't suppose it was.
Mowing club.
Pardon me.
Mowing club.
Yeah, a
Rowing.
Rowing.
Mowing. Was it mowing or rowing?
mowing the lawn club.
Oh, right. Oh, yes, the mowing the lawn, yeah.
Yeah, it was founded in 1870. So I mean, that's all about rowing. It's good that people are out there rowing, but we can move on quite swiftly from this. Apart from if somebody wants to comment on the architecture.
No, I do like those metallic structures that they have at the front. You know, the balconies are like.
Didn't
Were
we
we
miss it?
hearing rowers? There were sounds coming from the river. Were they rowers?
Yes, it was it was a guy with a what do they call it? A PA
Megaphone?
Megaphone. Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Isn't this a building we couldn't find?
It may have been. There were actually a few of those along the route. There were a few. Just before I forgot about Hammersmith Bridge. Was the IRA tried to blow it up, didn't they? And 3 times.
Bag thrown into water.
It was designed by Joseph Basil Getty.
Of Getty fame.
Of what?
Of the Gettys.
The Getty family.
The Spaghetti family.
No.
With the chopped off ear.
Basil Getty.
Oh, Jetty.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced.
T-E. The IRA tried to blow it up 3 times. The first time, a local hairdresser named Maurice Childs, he was passing by and he saw the bomb, bravely picking it up and throwing it into the river. But as we said on the night, how did he know what a bomb looked like?
Yeah.
It
Yeah, and that
round
was
Norwich with a big letters and a fuse sticking out.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like, I've never actually that's like a cartoon, like a cliche bomb. I've never actually seen one that looks like that. But did they actually exist?
And it was going tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
I will.
From the sparkles, you can.
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
it's a
I mean,
bomb.
did bombs ever look like that? Was there ever a bomb that looked like that, or is that just an imaginary thing?
It could have been a sparkler.
Yeah.
And then another 2 times it was Semtex. The IRA with Semtex. They never got it together. You know, it never worked. So then we are supposed to go to the Blue Anchor. It does look it looks horrible actually during the day, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Horrible is maybe too strong a word, but
It doesn't look as filmic as it did at night.
Yeah.
and this is the Blue Anchor pub. Now, what's so special about that, you ask? Well, I shall tell you. It was first licensed in 1722. And it's a good pub.
Was that the one? Was that the one with the ghost?
But all
This
of them
is
were
the
ghosts.
pub where
There are
this
ghosts
is-
everywhere. This place.
it can get. There's lots of good pubs along this route, but not all of them are like the Blue
And
Anchor,
ghosts.
where Gwyneth Paltrow and John Hannah have a drink in the British comedy Sliding Doors. It's also where Gustav Holst spent many hours composing, most notably Hammersmith Prelude and Scherzo, which I put in the thing earlier, if anybody listened to it.
Ah, that was it. Okay.
Yeah, that's Holtz of the Planets.
Yeah, I passed his house.
He lived the other
in
side.
August.
Pardon
In
me?
Barn.
He lived the other side of the river.
Well, he liked to walk over the bridge and go to the Blue Anchor, and that's where he composed.
The planet.
No, the
He's got a
Hammersmith.
house on the other side that faces the river. It's got a
Yeah.
plaque outside. I saw
Yeah.
it in August, walking back
Yeah.
from Richmond to Soho.
It's sort of Barnes Way, I think. Is that about it? About right?
Pardon?
I think it's near Barnes.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
Barn.
Yes, he
Yeah.
taught at St Paul's School, and he lived for many years in Barnes.
I didn't even know he was in London or in England, let alone London. I thought he would be Vienna, Viennese or
Yeah.
something.
I think he was born here, or certainly spent most of his life here. So he's considered English.
Oh,
Certainly considered an English composer.
Is
Wow.
he considered an English composer?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Hmm.
But then Delius is as well, and he's partly German. So
Right. Then we went walking along, further along, and it was the smell of the water, the wood smoke, and everything, wasn't it? It was great.
lot of woods, burning wood. I could smell.
Yeah.
where were they doing that?
On the canal boats or the boats. Here we are. That's Furnivale Sculling Club. Now let me show you. Now, can anybody remember anything about this?
No.
Okay, fair
Not really
dues. Fair enough.
mentioned.
As long as that's.
I remember it, but I can't remember like the context. You know, like. Yeah.
Was that the Piers Brosnan one?
No.
Or the Pete Townsend, bad one.
There you are. What does that make you remind you of? Does it remind you of anything?
A pub.
This is the Furnivale Sculling Club. It was the guy that started rowing
woman.
for females.
Oh yes.
So here he is, the dirty old man himself. I mean, I'm just assuming he's a dirty old man. That's what you do these days. Dr. Frederick James Furnivale. He was a remarkable man, a philologist. What's a philologist?
Mm.
What is a philologist?
It's it's like I don't know. It comes from some word philos and logos, which is a friend of words. Which
That's
like
right.
A
That's
person
right.
that likes
Yes.
literature and studies of the word.
He helped establish what would become the original Oxford English Dictionary. So he was a keen sportsman. He was a rower. He disliked the discrimination shown against women and working men by the Amateur Rowing Association. They were not allowed to join. So he set up a new club here in 1896 for women rowers.
Right.
Who said that? That was you, Panos. So this doesn't. You don't care about this bit. Women's
When was
rights.
this picture taken?
Around the 1896. It has been suggested that Kenneth Graham, author of The Wind in the Willows, based the character of Ratty on this guy, Furnivale.
Wow.
Next to this were the gardens, which was the first scene of some confusion for us. This is an old photo of the gardens, and that's them now. Now there was a moment of confusion here.
Go back to the old photo again, could you?
Yeah, sure.
Wow. So all this was blown up in the war.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah, the gardens named after Furnivale were built on the site of buildings destroyed by German bombing during World War II. They also lie on what used to be the Hammersmith Creek, an outflow river of Stamford Brook, one of London's lost rivers. The brook comprises 3 streams that converge near Hammersmith. Until the early 19th century, Hammersmith Creek was navigable. and known as Little Wapping because of the many barges that travelled up and down from the Thames carrying goods. However, in later years it fell from use and the creek was filled in during the 1930s and suffered further damage during World War II. I think they should dig them all up, make them happen again, all the rivers that got lost. We should become more like Venice.
And some of them are causing a lot of problems. My friend's daughter's flat is above part of the River Effra, and she has to move out because the damp is rising up so much. So there's a lot of rivers buried, and some of them are causing great problems, particularly as they are kind of using sewers now quite often. So the river's still there, they're just a big pipe, and they're just filling up too much and overflowing.
Well, then something must be done. I think we should get these lost rivers back, and people can have their own personal little. You know, everybody's on electric scooters these days. People could have their own personal little electric boat, like a little electric surfboard thing that they could stand on. You know.
I'm still waiting for jetpacks.
Exactly, it would be good if we could fly. I mean, that would be,
Yeah.
Then who cares about what's underneath?
Yeah.
Flying would be chaos. It'd be chaos.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be great. It'd be fucking
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yes, I agree.
Now,
Oh,
what are you thinking here? Anything?
I can't see. What is that? What is
It's a
that?
tiny bar.
like the tiny bar.
Oh, the
That
tiniest
was-
bar. Yeah. That was great. I want to go back there.
4 foot by 7 foot, and I think the width is 4, or is it 7? Well, I think it might be 7. There's 2 pumps, I think. Oh no, one's a fan.
I'd love to go there and order a massive round so they can't fit it on the bar.
Yes, this is the 17th century The Dove pub. It was a coffee house popular with watermen who unloaded their sailing barges near here. The poet James Thomson composed the words to Rule Britannia in an upstairs room in 1740. Charles II is also said to have entertained Nell Gwyn at the pub. I think that probably means something, entertained probably has a double meaning there.
Double as a brothel.
Well, he entertained her there, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Probably gave her a chambering, as they say, in the 18th century. Chambering was English 18th century slang for fucking. It's called chambering. Other patrons over the years have included Graham Greene, William Morris, Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, and Ernest Hemingway. The pub is
all massive drinkers.
Yeah.
That's just the outside. Our old friend,
Oh,
Panos has got a gay friend coming in.
come here, Mag.
Our old
He
friend
came back from work.
Okay. Our old friend A.P. Herbert, his novel The Water Gypsies contains this pub. Hello.
Hello, he's saying hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yo. I was on the mic now, and I can hear you.
The Dove has the smallest bar in Britain and a plaque showing the height reached by the Great Flood in 1928. So then we continued along to this place, Kelmscott House. Notable because it was the main London residence of William Morris, founder of the arts and crafts movement. Now, Daniel, you probably got something to say about this.
Not much.
No?
It's quite interesting.
Are you a fan of William Morris?
Yeah. I don't know much. We had William Morris wallpaper and loose covers on my parents' sofa and armchair as a kid, I remember. It was a big revival in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I can see his drawings here. They're pretty.
During Morris's era, this area was a hotbed for radicals. Morris used to preach political sermons to passers-by from an actual soapbox near Hammersmith Bridge, and regular attendees at meetings here included Prince Kropotkin, George Bernard Shaw, early proponent of eugenics, and Keir Hardie, first parliamentary leader of the Labour Party. But Morris was not just an intellectual and artist, he was also fairly sporty. And in 1880 he once rode from here all the way to his other house, because he was a big socialist of his other house, as we say.
It sounds very typical Labour Party momentum to me. With, Jeremy Corbyn's little farmhouse ends up being some fucking huge mansion.
He once rode all the way from here to his other house by the Thames, Kelmscott House in Gloucestershire. He leased the manor jointly with the pre-Raphaelite painter Dante Gabriele Rossetti. The William Morris Society, dedicated to perpetuating his memory. The house is open to the public on Thursdays and Saturday afternoons. It dates from the 1780s. Yeah, okay. Then
I remember it because we saw it. We saw the plaque on it. I think there's a blue plaque on it, if I remember rightly.
On what? The William Morris?
Yeah.
Well,
Are you sure you're on the right house? I thought his looked different.
No, it is. It is the right.
I'll be back in a second.
It is. It could be the right house. I typed it into the. I typed it in to the thing, and this is what came
I
up.
think his house faced the river, didn't it?
Yeah. Yes, his house faces the river. Now.
Maybe this is it, and I'm just remembering it differently.
Well, it was
Maybe we
dark.
saw it from the other side or something.
Possibly, yeah.
No. Yes, that might be. Yes. There you go. No, because it matches. It does actually match the picture in. Oh no. This picture is sorry. Yeah, this is what we're looking at here is Latimer Preparatory School.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I didn't get a picture of. Actually, I did get a picture of. This is one of my earlier mistakes when I was collecting the pictures. I did get a picture of Kelmscott House, but I forgot to number it. So it's. Don't worry about it. It's not that important. So this is Latimer. Please don't let me fall into talking like an absolute piece of scum from the street. I have noticed that I talk like that, like fucking Saf, and all of this. So
not on the walks. You do accents of Ratty from Wind in the Willows and things on the walks.
yes, I should do more of that. Continue westwards, and on the right is Latimer Preparatory School. Preparatory School. It's an odd word to say. Preparatory School. Pardon me. Sorry. The school occupies something. It stands on the site of an earlier residence, and it was the long occupied by Catherine of Braganza, the long-suffering wife. The long-suffering wife of Charles II, who, if you remember, was having assignations with Nell Gwynn in The Dove with the smallest bar. See? So that's one of the reasons why she was long-suffering. Now, anybody remember what she was famous for popularising?
Oranges.
Not oranges, no. Anybody else?
Clap.
The Vax?
Clap.
Have you got
D.
No, it's not. Tea. She started the tea craze.
Catherine of Braganza.
Yes.
Why don't they call like
TEA.
a tea like a Braganza?
TEA.
That would be good. Like El Grey.
Oh right, okay.
She popularised tea. I thought English had always drunk tea ever since like Roman times.
Have they?
Well,
That's what it said in Asterix the Gaul.
Well, I think you stole it from Indians, didn't you, or something?
Ceylon.
Chinese. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I always thought it came from China or somewhere.
In Asterix, it has
Well,
us
it didn't come
drinking
from
it.
England.
Well, Asterix has us drinking it right all the way back in Roman times. So, I don't know.
I like
If you want to argue with Asterix, go for it, mate. But you'll be the one who ends up bruised.
For me, the most interesting part is her name. It sounds very camp.
Braganza.
Yes, of Braganza and Extravaganza. You know, like this kind of voguing houses.
Right. You could do a history song called about that. A history voguing song. Outside the school's rowing club. Oh, and her Catholic faith made her controversial during that period of religious tension, and 2 servant girls drowned in the severe flood of January 1928. But what's that got to do with? That's sort of strange. Then there's this famous rower. Now, he went to this school.
Who is it? The blonde one?
No, the one on the curly-haired one.
Mm.
His name is Andy Holmes, and he contracted a waterborne disease feared by all regular river users, known as leptospirosis.
Oh, there was a plaque to him, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a plaque to him. Other well-known pupils of this London independent school include Hugh Grant, the mighty Hugh Grant, Alan Rickman, Heston Blumenthal, Lily Cole, and Cliff Townsend, father of the Who's Pete Townsend, and he was expelled from this school and later became a jazz musician.
Pete Townsend, who managed to escape arrest for having a load of child pornography on his computer.
Was researching a fucking musical, Daniel.
Apparently.
Like one does.
Yeah. I'm always doing that.
I apologise.
I'm always researching my novel on the internet. I'm doing it all the time.
Continue westwards, and at the junction of, this is a strange word, Welchie Road. Welchie. Eric Ravilius lived here. He was a wartime painter. One of the finest English artists of the 20th century. Here's a couple of his war. He was a war artist. Here's a couple of his pictures. That's pre-war. You know, that's the idyllic countryside, and this is the war. I would say to people to have a look at his work because it's quite good.
Yeah.
There were a lot of writers and painters and musicians who lived around that immediate area. It's referenced that sort of Hammersmith.
Yeah, this is what that I was going to say. This actually, it becomes more apparent as we go further in the walk. But this was kind of a hotbed, really, for kind of a lot of artists and poets and writers.
With money, I may add.
The moneyed
so
ones.
Be quite comfortably off. But right into the 40s and 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, there seems to be a lot around there.
Yeah.
Sadly for Eric Ravilius, he was in a sea rescue aircraft that disappeared somewhere near Iceland, and he was never ever seen again during the war. So that's sad. We went past there, and we went to the Corinthians sailing club with the funny old crow's nest, you know, which I've said I could live in that.
Oh, the hexagonal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It's nice, man. You know, it's a nice little small little place that somebody could live in.
It's just an
Oh, yes, I
interesting,
remember
little,
that.
interesting little piece of ephemera.
Panos?
Just have a potty if you live there.
I would just put my bum out the window and drop into the into the water.
We have some of the most sewage-ridden waters in the world.
Who does?
We do.
England.
Yeah, now we do. Post Brexit,
Why post Brexit? What's Brexit got to do with the sewage?
because apparently everyone's shitting. All the shit is going into the sea and
Because
the
of
river.
Brexit.
Yeah, it's Brexit.
What?
It's true.
Because of the how.
All the poo is going. If you're swimming in a river now, you're going to get poo in your face.
It's always you've always got poo in your face in a river. Always.
No, it's
No, but
worse
now it's
now than
worse.
it's.
Now
Yeah.
it's much worse.
We're one of the worst people in the world
Yeah.
to poo in the river.
Oh yeah, tell that to the Ganges.
Yeah.
Post 2016, it rapidly soared.
I don't mind turds in my river. I don't mind it. I don't mind
You're not
navigating
into
turds.
wild swimming like some other people,
I am.
are you?
Yeah. I just don't like getting there.
Oh.
The London Corinthian Sailing Club. It was formed in 1894. Oh, this is why.
We couldn't even go paddling when we went to that summer trip. Where was that place? On the Thames. To begin with L. And there was a donkey you walked past and attacked you.
What about it?
We couldn't even paddle in the Thames there. It was so filthy.
You
No.
have to go to that bit I mentioned near Hampton Court because it was really clear.
Yeah, I went swimming this summer there. It was lovely.
You did the same
Very
place?
clear water. Near Ham House. Near Ham House.
Okay.
Near Richmond.
Well,
Not
anyway,
far.
the London Corinthian Sailing Club. It was damaged by a V1 rocket during the World War II, and here is a V1 rocket. Look, there you go.
That's a big rocket.
It's a big rocket. It's not the biggest though. Now they've got the mother of all bombs. It's called the Moab. The Corinthians. They came to.
V2 Schneider.
Pardon, Richard.
What was a V2 Schneider?
What?
V2 Schneider. That's
That's the one that
David
came after
Bowie.
the V1.
A bomb.
Oh.
David Bowie song, isn't it?
Yeah, Dave Bowie song.
It's after Florian Schneider from Kraftwerk.
Now, did you know that the renowned oboist Leon Goossens,
Leon Goulson.
yeah, oh, you do know, Daniel?
Yeah, and Eugenie Goosens, and there's a whole load of them.
What do you know about these Goossens?
Very, very famous musicians. There were, I think there was about 3 or 4 of them that were really well known, recorded and performed a lot.
Ah.
Leon is probably the most famous.
Daniel,
Hi.
you are here.
Do you know about the Eugenie Goosen scandal? It was stitched up coming back, I think, from Australia to here.
What was he?
and
Was he researching a musical as well? Like,
Well, kind of. There was tons of porn in his suitcase. He was stopped by customs. I think this is in the early 60s, late 50s, and there was tons of porn in his suitcase. But I think he was set up.
what kind of porn?
Don't know.
Is that in Is that when back in the day? Was this in the 60s?
I think it's a little earlier than that because all his recording contracts were dropped. But he was very good friends with Sir Thomas Beecham, and HMV wanted Beecham back. So he did a deal. He said, yeah, you can have me back, but you've got to sign Goosens as well. So they gave in. and signed him back. But he never really recovered. I think he died not long afterwards. I think it really devastated him. And I think
Must have been gay porn. It must have been gay porn.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he was. Who knows? I mean, I don't think he was gay, but I'm sure whoever did it made sure it was going to be shocking enough to have an impact. But he was a really great conductor.
Goosens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you into classical, Daniel? Are you into classical music?
Yeah, I do. I like lots of different music.
No, I mean, I like lots of different music, but I don't like. I mean, I'm not listening to classical. Like classical is like another kind of level, you know.
I mean, it's very like lots of stuff. It's very varied. You know, it's a very wide spectrum. But my grandmother worked in a music shop, so I learned a lot from her. So she used to play me records and stuff when I was young.
Oh. I had my neighbor next door. He was playing me records, but it was mostly like, you know, popular culture records, not like classical.
Well, you're doing yourself a disservice, Panos, by not trying out classical. It will.
No, I mean, I haven't really heard many, you know, like I don't know details about, you know, composers and stuff, you know.
You should listen to "Isle of the Dead" by Rachmaninoff. It's the song that William Burroughs thought should be the theme tune to Naked Lunch. That's a way to get into it. That's very doomy gothic. So, well, it certainly starts that way.
I'm gonna have to listen to that because I know of it and I can't recall the music at all. I think I recognize it when I hear it. I think I've got it somewhere.
Yeah, it's good, that one.
It's a short piece, isn't it? It's not.
Oh,
long.
it's a long piece. It's about 30 minutes.
Is it? Okay.
I think so, if I remember correctly. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly. This now, I don't know where Simon is, but he'll come now. We went to the Old Ship Public House. It dates back to the 1720s. And then we walked slightly away from the Thames and we went to the Black Lion pub. Yes.
God, is that Peter Sellers?
You will know. You will find out who that is. You will find out.
Actually, it's not Peter Sellers, is it? But it looks a bit like him at a glance.
No, he is a man who, in a very real sense, accompanied us along the walk. So we went to the Black Lion pub. It dates from the late 18th century and is said to be haunted by the Hammersmith ghost.
Yes.
Shall I read the story? I should do, I think. Okay, it goes back to 1803. A local woman was apparently scared to death by the sight of a ghostly white spectre, thought by locals to be the troubled spirit of a man who had committed suicide nearby. Shortly, just letting Simon in. There you go. Troubled spirit of a man who had committed suicide nearby shortly before. A few months later, with much of the local population too scared to venture out at night. Imagine being too scared. Imagine being a local population that are too scared to venture out at night because of a ghost.
But I think that's what was happening when we went as well. Like no one was around. They were scared of the ghost.
Scared enough not to go to the pub.
Humbug, poppycock.
But truly, I think that the night walks are really magical. I really love it.
Okay, well, we've only done one so far. So anyway, look, a few months later, with much of the local population too scared to venture out at night, I don't believe that at all. So a few ladies were scared. A local man named Francis Smith loaded up his blunderbuss. I can imagine Simon doing this. He's loading up his blunderbuss and he went out looking for the ghost. But he came across a bricklayer named Thomas Millwood, who was covered in white dust. Smith mistook Millwood for the Hammersmith ghost and shot him. Millwood,
that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
Millwood was carried to the Black Lion, where he later died. In a cruel twist of fate, it is said that his ghost now haunts the pub. Francis has
What are the
found
chances? What are the chances? What are the chances?
Francis was found guilty of murder at the Old Bailey, but given the unusual circumstances of the case, was sentenced to just a year in prison. Except that maybe I think probably he wanted to kill this guy, and this was the perfect opportunity to do it.
Well, because he was covered in flour.
Yeah, no, it was covered in brick dust.
Oh, brick dust. Yeah, whatever it was.
He knew that he'd be coming back along this certain route at night, and he'd be covered in brick dust, and that he could say, "Oh, I thought it was the ghost.
I thought it was a ghost. I better shoot him."
I was going to shoot a ghost with my
Ghost.
blunderbuss. I was going to kill the ghost with my blunderbuss." The whole plan is just insane. Anyway, look, apart from that, this pub is where your friend and mine, A.P. Herbert, invented the game of Skittles. And there he is, inventing the game of, there he is, in the Black Lion pub.
He does look a little bit like Peter Sellers at a quick glance.
Is Skittles like bull? What is Skittles?
It's like a pub game. It's like you've got Skittles on it's like a billiard table, I think, but you've got like bits of wood that are like cylindrical bits of wood. A bit like
Bowling
Barbie.
alley.
Yeah, similar kind of thing, but on a billiard table.
Okay. Thank you.
He wrote a book called The Water Gypsies that was made into a film. This is a scene from it. In this book, he devoted a whole chapter to Skittles. And there he is himself, the man himself, as a young man. A.P. Herbert.
Got a very big nose.
You know what they say about men with big noses, don't you?
Yeah.
It's really big.
But I don't think that any facial kind of characteristics, tell things about the size of your dick.
No, but they do. They do.
I've met guys with like really small noses, like small hands with like huge dicks.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Panos is clear. He's just lying to be controversial now, Panos.
No, I'm not totally, speaking the truth here.
I had several tranny friends that applied to, and particularly Thomas, who was always dressed like Wallace Simpson. That was his look. I mean, absolutely shocking what he had.
Simon, does that go the other way?
Not allowed to say the T word nowadays. Don't think. Not sure.
What was that?
What tranny?
Yeah.
Oh yes, we're gonna be cancelled on YouTube. I don't give a fuck if I'm cancelled YouTube.
Simon, does that go the other way? If a girl's got a big nose, that means she's got a big fanny.
As in deep, you mean, or like wide?
Wide.
Oh.
He's never gone out with a big nose girl.
Well, I've been out with a girl that's got like a fat nose, and yeah, no, it doesn't really correlate, I don't think.
All right. So we're veering with the it's lies philosophy of the like Panos says.
Yeah, it's like phrenology. I mean,
yeah,
it's a load of bullshit. All that,
totally.
It's like saying like all black men have got massive dicks. It's like not true.
Well, I mean, all the ones I have.
But you get,
no, that's not true. I was just making a joke. I was just making a joke there.
It's not universal.
I just guess we've just been lucky, I'm only making a joke anyway. Look, this is the backside of Hammersmith Terrace, which contains 17 tall, elegant Georgian houses. Do you remember this? That dated from the 50s. Once upon a time, these houses, these 17 houses, stood alone in open countryside. What we saw was these are actually the front that faces the river, but what we saw was a back.
Mm-hmm.
Notable people who have lived in the terrace include A.P. Herbert, who Apart from
Yeah,
popularising
but-
Skittles, writing books, and serving as an MP, Herbert also found time to make an important contribution to the reform of the divorce laws. So,
Boys, I need to go for a pee. I'll be back in a second. Carry on.
at number 3, the calligrapher Edward Johnston. He had a blue plaque. Houses here can cost around 4 million. And if you're curious to see inside one, if you visit between April and September, you might be able to go into Sir Emery Walker. He was a prominent printer in 1851 to 1933, good friend of William Morris. The house boasts a perfectly preserved arts and crafts interior, because that's a movement.
And I think you can visit inside and like,
Yeah, that's what it said here. You can visit.
yeah.
Now, this next picture. No, look what I've written in here. Look what I've written in.
Wig and, like, a
Old-fashioned boot
cloud.
scraper. No, old-fashioned boot scraper. Number 8, Hammersmith Terrace. These were my results. Like a load of grass, a clown. Like, I was like, what the fuck? You know? And then I just typed in boot scrapers, and none of them were the same. But anyway, at number 8, there was an old-fashioned boot scraper where you would scrape your boot when you came in from the muddy bath.
I remember that.
There were several, weren't there?
Yeah, and there was a metal
Wow.
coal. Oh, that was also good, wasn't it? There was a metal coal hole cover. Do you remember that? A hole in the
Yeah.
pavement to chuck coal down.
Yeah. What's it called? A coal.
Coal
Daniel,
hole.
Daniel knew that.
Yeah.
Ah.
It was called a coal
Coal-
hole
what-
cover.
Was it called a coal hole?
Yeah, coal hole. Yeah. So everybody would know that. They're everywhere.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So from there, we went to Chiswick Mall, where the houses could sell for about 10 million.
It's astonishing.
Chiswick, his name is derived from the Old English words for cheese farm.
Mhm.
You know, probably a trade carried out in the medieval meadows beside the river. The current district, known as Chiswick, covers what used to be 4 distinct villages: Little Sutton, Turnham Green, Chiswick itself, which we went, and Strand on the Green, we've seen later. For many centuries, it was all about fishing down there. The village grew up around the parish church of St Nicholas, Chiswick. In the 18th century, the royal palace at Kew was popular with the monarchy, and Chiswick became a favoured location for second homes among the wealthier classes seeking court patronage. I wonder what does that mean? So you had to live near to the court to get patronage or something? I don't understand. However, it remained a largely rural village until the following century, when it's engulfed by London's expanding suburbs. And it was walking along here that we were made aware of the Chiswick 8, which is pronounced Eot, or sorry, spelled Eot. There it is. That's what it actually looked like. We were shining the torch onto it. That's one of the islands.
And the island.
Yeah.
It looks
And the
much better at
beautiful
night time.
gardens the houses had that backed onto the Thames. You remember the gates?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in actually, that's one thing we did miss to a degree, because during daytime they do look absolutely incredible.
So could we walk across there, or do we have to have a key to the gates?
Yeah, they're all private, so it's actually part of their home.
Garden. Yeah.
Yeah, it's their garden.
No, but you could get, if it's low tide, you could get onto the Thames at an earlier point, walk along, and then walk. Yes, then you could walk onto the island.
Oh, sorry, you mean the island, not the gardens.
Yeah, we want to
Yeah,
Can
get.
we get to the island without having to go through the gardens?
Possibly.
I think yes,
Yeah.
yes, you can. You definitely can.
Yeah.
It used to be. It used to have willows were once harvested on this 3-acre island, and there's a horror short story called The Willows, which is one of the best short stories ever. And I was thinking about it the other day because I remembered his name. So I'm just gonna The Willows by by the Willows. Because I just want the listener to know the Willows short story by oh, for fuck's sake, Algernon Blackwood. There you go. So
When was it written?
18 something or other.
Okay.
What, and it's
And it's
set on
set
this
on the
island?
island.
No, no, not at all.
Oh.
Got nothing to do with it. But it's apart from it's called the Willows, and they used to harvest willows on here. Sorry, you know, as you continue along, you will see on your right hand side a brewery. I don't know. Anybody want to talk about a brewery? I don't remember seeing this at all. Actually, I don't remember this.
No.
It's I don't know. It's a brewery. We can just move on from this, I suppose. Not much. We don't want to. What's to say? You know.
I think we couldn't see it. You mentioned it, and we couldn't. we
Yeah,
saw
I
another
remember there was a big like sort of something that we came onto later that was turned into artist studios, and that had like a brewery sign on it, but that wasn't the same brewery.
And there was a different one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The White Tower.
Yeah,
The white bits, like a beehive.
yeah. But it was a different one. It's a bit further on.
Hmm.
What's wisteria?
Plant.
Pardon me.
Is the plant wisteria? I don't know.
Wisteria. It says the wisteria on the brewery is said to be around 180 years old, making it the oldest example in England. It originated from specimens brought back from China to Kew Gardens. It's a tree, is it? It's kind of a
Tree,
plant.
it's a plant. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's a sort of it's like a creeper, so it will grow up side. You often see them on walls.
well, it's
With
not on this-
like it look like bunches of grapes hanging from them, the flowers. They come
Well,
out in late spring.
well, there's none in these pictures. I'll be back in just one second.
Oh, it's wisteria. Wisteria is beautiful. It's like one of those. Just have those kind of grape-like flowers.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very nice. It's
Like this. Purple.
Okay.
I wonder if it's going to be a problem with these alamees, because that means you're supposed to pay for the pictures, isn't it?
No,
Oh,
don't worry about that. Oh, fuck off. Don't worry about that. No, you pay for it if you don't want the A's on it. I'm happy with the A's.
Oh, okay.
You know? So, where am I? I've lost my spot. Where were we? Yeah, so I don't know. It's a brewery. Next, this is Said House, which we had trouble finding or seeing as well. Said House, it's next to Bedford House, and
I remember that one. Yeah,
you do remember this one?
I remember that big window. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the red urn? In the,
No, I remember
No.
just focusing on a lovely big window.
right.
Vaguely remember it.
I mean, he's pointing it out because in 2005, it was the BBC used it to home the contestants taking part in the first series of The Apprentice.
No, I'm sure that was a different one, different house.
No, it says about this. The landlord at the time claimed that £12,000 worth of damage was done by the contestants, including a fire resulting from an indoor barbecue. The actor Michael Redgrave, 1908 to 1985, lived in Bedford House after buying it in 1945. He lived there for about 10 years with his wife, Rachel Kempson, and children, Vanessa, Lynn, and Corin. You would think that the contestants of The Apprentice would be a better kind of, classier kind of contestant, wouldn't you?
No, they tend to be trash.
yes, totally.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? Katie Hopkins was
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, she was an original member of the bloody Apprentice.
That last one was where the contestants stayed, I think, not the one before.
But this one, Bedford House.
One back. That one. That looks
This
more
one?
like it. Yeah.
No, he
Yeah, it
says
says bed.
he says said house here.
Oh.
I mean, he could be wrong. He's been wrong before. Now, I think one of our biggest mistakes was Walpole House, because this is a picture of it, and I remember we were standing outside of this house, and I was reading this big long thing about Walpole House.
Yeah, and that wasn't the bloody. We were outside. the
Some
wrong
kid
house.
came walking out, looking at us like we were the biggest morons. Fucking, this isn't Walpole House. So sorry. Anybody else got something to say?
No.
Simon, you were saying something?
No.
Right. Well, anyway, this is Walpole House. I was confused by it. Hold on, I'm getting very warm now. It's quite warm, isn't it, for this time of year? Don't you think? Or is it always this?
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
why it's such a nice walk, because it was so still and warm for a October evening.
Yeah.
It's 15
No,
degrees. Very mild.
Very mild, sir.
Very mild.
Very, very mild, sir. I like to keep it mild. I was born to be mild. Walpole House. Right. This is a big load of info, and why don't I just cut it all? Walpole, I don't know. Walpole House, the Prime Minister, Sir Robert Walpole, he lived there. The author William Thackeray attended an academy for boys within the house in the 1820s. Drawing upon the experience when creating the fictional Miss Pinkerton for young ladies. Yeah, something about, yeah. All right, moving on from that. Anybody read Vanity Fair?
Then there's the graveyard, wasn't it? The graveyard was next. The little graveyard.
Thackeray.
Well, look, listen. Who's that one that you liked, Panos? The Catherine of Extravaganza.
Extravagant. Yeah, Braganza.
Well, no wonder he said
Braganza.
long suffering, because not only she was married to Charles II. Well, not only was he doing Nell Gwyn in that pub just up the road, his mistress, the Duchess of Cleveland,
Oh,
was up here, lived in Walpole House for a while. So he was having her as well. So no wonder old what's her face was long suffering.
oh.
But this Barbara Villiers, the Duchess of Cleveland, she was once renowned for her good looks, but the dropsy got her, and she lost her looks. It is said that her ghost still haunts the house. In 1885, Walpole House was purchased by a local shipbuilder named Thornycroft. It's a Grade 1 building. It sold for £12 million in 2008. We continued along, and that's it in the old days, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. So
The same one as previous.
yes. I know it doesn't look the same.
Oh, it's because the gate.
Yeah, it's because of the gate. Is it? I don't know.
Was that the back?
Yeah, that's what I say. That's the back. Anytime there's any.
Because that's a garden. And I think the other
Yeah.
picture is.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Well, they've had extensions put on to make it a bit larger or something. Because it pokes out a bit on, not flat, the other one.
yes, that's because that's the front and this is the back.
Ah,
Who's this man?
got a very big tie,
Oh.
not?
Yeah. His was the bloated body found floating in the water down at the Church Street Causeway on the 30th of December 1888. He was one of the main suspects for Jack the Ripper murders. His name was Montague John Druitt. Does he look like a murderer to you? Here's another one.
But you know,
Does he
That's
look
him
like?
again.
Huh?
They're both him.
Yeah.
So what was his background? Remind me.
It gives no background, and I didn't have time to look it up. But he sounds posh.
Well, you had a piss, wasn't it?
Yes, I had a piss. No, I think I had a piss. Maybe no, I had a piss earlier.
Or someone else had a piss.
No. Yeah, no, you're right. This is the body that was washed up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I right about?
But was the body? Did someone? I can't remember rightly. Was the body Was he considered a victim or?
No, he was one of the main suspects.
the suspect.
Right.
Okay. Right. Anyway, so I don't think he did it. I think Sickert did it. There you go. I'm putting my cards on the table. It was Walter Sickert was the one.
Lots of people say him.
Yeah. Then there's a huge info dump about boat building and stuff like that. I don't think we need to dwell on that. Nothing particularly, if you're into that sort of thing, but whatever. So then we went up Church Street to, that's a nice photo of that's where his body would have been, in that, all covered in mud and stuff. In that photo. This is St. Nicholas of Chiswick. St. Nicholas Chiswick, the heart of the original village of Chiswick. St. Nicholas is best known as Santa Claus, but is also the patron saint of sailors and fishermen. The church dominated the medieval village and is thought to have its origins in the 7th century. It was first formally recorded in 1181. So there's been a church there since 1181. Now that is a long time.
Was that the church that was barricaded because it was like they're doing it up or something?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The tower dates from the 15th century.
Wow.
So it's a bit, that is always, you could almost say that's probably been a holy, some kind of mystical site forever, since there's been a Britain, you could probably say that. Yes, most of the structure is very modern though. Number of tombs in the churchyard that worth looking out for. William Hogarth, that's one of his pictures. There's the man himself.
That's right. Yes. I remember that.
That's Hogarth. This is one of his most famous pictures there.
Self-portrait.
No, it's moved now. It's changed to a
Gin Lane.
Gin.
Oh, so there's a lag. There's a lag when I change the picture, I see.
Yeah, there is.
Gin Lane. Oh.
This is it. This is the famous one.
Yeah.
They're all pissed on gin. Like the woman doesn't even give a shit of dropping her child on the floor.
Into the Thames.
Yeah.
Who's that skeletal man in the corner with the dog? Look at him. Has he got dropsy?
I mean, they look like junkies, really.
Yeah.
Well, they were the equivalent of junkies.
There wasn't
Other
much water drank.
Yes. Other people buried here include the artist Whistler.
Yes.
Which Whistler?
Whistler.
It wasn't Rex, was it?
James Abbott McNeill Whistler.
The famous Whistler. Did he live in Mornington Crescent, or he lived here?
He's buried here. I don't know where he lived.
I was thinking about Sickert. There's a famous Sickert painting in Mornington Crescent, isn't there?
Not sure. As a Hogarth. This is a painting by Philip James de Luthberg, who is also buried in that in
Nice
there.
painting.
Yes, yeah, his pictures are quite worth looking at. The very dramatic seascape things.
Hmm.
It's worth, that's like they're very cinematic. Other people are Sir Charles Tilston Bright, who laid the transatlantic telegraph cable. Yeah, quite a few, famous. Well, if you're into, a hero of Rorke's Drift, Frederick Hitch, he got a Victoria Cross. Henry Joy, who, it's quite military. Henry Joy, who sounded the charge of the Light Brigade in the Balaclava, one of the greatest military follies ever. Charles II's mistress, she's buried there, 1710. Two of Oliver Cromwell's daughters said to be buried there. So, it's like, celeb city if you're into that kind of history. Now, this is quite gory. This is very Halloweeny. This could have been a Halloween walk, actually. Cromwell, he got rid of the monarchy, but then they got restored. That was Charles II. Charles II ordered that Cromwell's body be dug up from Westminster Abbey, and then it was symbolically hanged, and then his head was cut off and displayed to the public for 20 years. And it's rumored that his body was buried in this churchyard. So, I mean, back in the old days, we loved to show off people's severed heads.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we, Simon?
Yeah, that was it was like the rock concert of the day, a beheading.
But then keeping the head around was like, having a ticket stub for seeing the Stones or something. It's like,
yeah, it was like a memento.
So you'd love it in ISIS land.
Oh, I'd love it with all the severed heads. Yeah.
We are at number 29 now, so that means we have only got 18 more things to do. Now we finished at the church and we went to a timbered old house.
Yes, I remember this.
There it is. It's called Old Burlington. It dates.
Oh, it's another ghost there.
It dates from the 15th century. It was once the Burlington Arms. It's possibly, aside from the church tower, it's possibly the oldest structure in Chiswick. The 18th century highwayman Dick Turpin is said to have had his marriage breakfast here, and on a separate occasion was almost caught by the authorities, but managed to escape through a window. The building is also, yes, Panos, you were right. The building is also reputedly haunted by a tall man who wears a large, wide-brimmed hat and rearranges the pictures.
I remember that.
Simon,
But the flat was empty.
It's very pretty.
the French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau is thought to have lived in a house on this street in 1776.
Enlightenment.
Yes, he had been exiled from France because of his controversial writings. And he wrote to a friend, I'm going to stay at a village near London. It's called Chiswick. So apparently, that's what he said. It says here, it is known he lodged with a grocer called James Pullen. Behind Old Burlington, you'll see signage that the Lamb Brewery. I think we can skip these breweries. They don't really, it's whatever.
Near there was a man that you couldn't really see. His room was quite dark, but I could see him watching us.
Where?
Opposite that building.
Was he a tall man wearing a wide brimmed hat?
No, he was hiding behind his curtain, and he was like looking at us. And I was kind of watching him as well. And then he continued. I didn't mention him because then would all go outside. And anyways, I thought it could have been.
Do you remember this
So
bit?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. You said it was good for a music video.
It could be. It could be good for anything. You could have like the last survivors of a zombie thing having to hole up in an underpass.
Mm.
You know,
Bloody hell.
gladiator battles in the underpass.
Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. We took that
Or an
underpass
industrial pop music video.
or a new wave, any kind of pop music video. Then we went under that underpass because he said, continue up Church Street to return to the modern world and the horrendous Hogarth roundabout.
Yeah. This is where I felt the walk did kind of take a dip.
Well, suddenly from all that peace and quiet and wood smoke, we were next to this rushing motorway, and there was when we got out from the underpass, we saw the Tesla shop, didn't we? Tesla electric cars.
Yeah.
Remember? What? See what my arrow's going around? That's the Hogarth's horrible roundabout there. You see on the picture. Tesla's cars. That was Are you coming when you're coming back into London? You come up this road.
Yeah, I'm very
the
familiar
coach.
with that roundabout. I'm very familiar with that roundabout actually, because I used to be driven back to London when I was a student. It was always up that way.
Well, when I come back on the coach from Wales, I come along there.
Yeah.
So we followed the sign.
It makes me wonder what else we missed along the banks of the Thames when we diverted to the underpass and the roundabout and the whatever house it was.
Yeah, that's worth investigating. Actually, we could. Yes, that is worth. That's a good point you bring up there, because when you at one point you exploded with rage, Daniel. You're like, we could what for this stupid fucking church.
Did I?
Yeah, you exploded with it in a tremendous rage. It was frightening to see.
Oh, that bloody boring church in a suburban street. We walked for miles.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was the low point. That was the fucking low point.
Yeah. Is this it? Like, gazillion churches in every fucking town. But I think there were some really amazing buildings we didn't see that continued down the Thames. Because I did a walk a few years ago with a friend, and there was the most amazing gallery that this mad woman who was dead did all these fucking murals that were like on vast loo papers that went on for miles and miles and miles.
This is Hogarth House, which we couldn't see. Look at it.
Oh, that's behind the gates and the fence.
That's the Hogarth House.
Oh, a bag of Pringles.
Pringles come in a tube. Once you pop, you can't stop. I like Pringles. You can get them for £1.50 in a pound shop now. It's quite cheap.
£1.50 in the pound shop.
Yeah. Sorry, is that so? That's what's going on here? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong page.
Pringles made me throw up in the taxi the night Princess Diana died. That and all the gin.
The night after she died, or the same night when she was puking up in the back of a cab?
It was the night she died, the fucking cab driver. And I remember I was with a friend of mine who was on the game, and both of us were in full rubber. And it was after a really dodgy party. And the taxi driver, and I've been violently sick for ages, stopped being sick, got in the cab, And then the driver, as we were pulling out, started feeling a bit queasy again. And he said, "Have you heard? Dodie and Diana are dead." And this ectoplasm came out of my mouth and exploded back off the passenger seat, covered poor little Nick, who was passed out next to me. He was like screaming my name out and saying, "No, no, no." And the cunt kicked us out in the middle of Balham High Road. So, yeah.
It was his fault, though.
It was, poor sod had a car full of vomit, and then he tried to get some money from me. And even though I was absolutely wankered, I went, "Here you are," and rubbed a £20 note in a load of vomit. So he didn't take it. So, yeah, that's the night Diana died.
So this was Hogarth's second home. He spent most summers he called it his little country box. It looks a bit,
little country box.
Yeah. While hard to imagine now, this house was then surrounded by open fields. He made all his money taking the piss out of poor people with his pictures, and then he would run off to his little country box. The garden still contains a mulberry tree whose fruit was used by Hogarth's wife to make tarts for visitors. The same tree. Hogarth is best known for his pictorial satires of 18th century life, such as Gin Lane, A Rake's Progress, and Marriage à la Mode, engravings of which you can see inside. He also did charitable works. He supported Thomas Coram in setting up the Foundling Hospital in Bloomsbury. What's a foundling? Is that
unwanted kids, babies.
When you leave Hogarth House, follow the map down Paxton Road, and then you will come to Chiswick House, it says here. Right. Oh, suddenly we're there all of a sudden. Yes, now this is where, hang on, Chiswick House.
That looks like a bloody church.
It is, Daniel. It is. Now there's a lot of we didn't see Chiswick House because again this was behind locked doors. There's a lot of info. There's a huge info dump about it here. I'll try to get through it very quickly. It was designed by the 3rd Earl of Burlington, built in the 1720s. He was influenced by classical Rome. Architecture of Andrea Palladio and Inigo Jones. It's one of the finest Palladian builders of Britain. The gardens designed by William Kent. Chiswick House, ladies out at there. It's not hugely interesting. It was once an asylum. It's been open to the public since 1958. Today it is the venue of the annual Chiswick House Festival, described as the most middle-class concert in Britain.
Why were we still looking at the picture of the church, or has it changed?
No, because I didn't get a picture of Chiswick House. I thought sorry about that. It's the Beatles. They came here to shoot promotional films for Paperback Writer and Rain. The first V2 rocket fell there. V2 Schneider, Richard, fell there in 1944, killing 3. Oh no, sorry, not on the house. Follow the map, exiting the gardens, continue for a minute, and you pass Staveley Road. This is where the first V2 Schneider rocket fell in 1944, killing 3 people, injuring 22, destroying 11 houses. It created a huge crater 40 foot across and 20 foot deep. The explosion was heard as far away as Westminster, and within an hour, Winston Churchill had arrived on the scene. The authorities, alarmed by this escalation in the arms race of World War II, initially tried to explain away the disaster as being the result of a gas main exploding. This led to a standing joke amongst Londoners over the next few weeks as more and more gas mains exploded. Get it?
So V2 Schneider is not a Kraftwerk reference. It's just a bomb reference.
Yeah, the V2 is the second. It's the second of the V1s.
But Schneider, I thought Schneider was a Kraftwerk reference.
Pinched it, maybe.
Okay.
That I don't think Kraftwerk in that period would have been allowed to make comical jokes about the V2 rocket, you know, because Germany.
But Florian Schneider was one of Kraftwerk.
Hmm.
He's a relative, a grandson or the son of the Schneider who invented the V2, maybe.
Perhaps, yeah.
Well, I would say
Something
that
like
I would say it's too soon for them to be cracking jokes like that.
I don't know.
No. Next, we went to the haunted mini market. Anybody remember this?
Did we?
Did we? We
You
went to the
lot-
co-op.
Yeah, you lot all went to the haunted co-op.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah, macaroons.
sausage rolls.
And sausage
Rolls and
rolls.
macaroons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did not see that the doors wouldn't shut. They kept going.
There was a ghost.
It was like a haunted fucking, you know. So
course.
anyway, you lot were in there for fucking ages trying to select your what you're going to eat, and then when you came out, we recharged and we went over a footbridge of Chiswick Station until we reached Daniel's favourite bit.
Fucking church. Then about 8 miles through suburban boring streets.
Oh, is that the
About
church
3
you kept coming
hours.
back to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this
That was-
Walking circles and then back.
That was
No,
to the
but
same church.
it was hell, that bit. It was real hell.
And dull.
Yeah.
Well, it was Panos's fault at first that we took the wrong turning. And we
There
ended
was
up at
that
some,
I was
highlight.
trudging along, and
But-
my spirit was so low. I just thought, why the fuck have I done this?
There was that great highlight, that building that was covered in a big spider.
Yes,
and a
exactly. That
web.
was exactly. We would have missed that. So
but I loved that bit trudging along in silence in a row, like 6 months.
Honestly, I was so
In
miserable. at that
total
point. I
silence.
was so I just wanted to call a cab. I just wanted to go home.
yeah, because we were walking for 3.5 hours. You know, it's a
Yeah.
long time.
I loved that. I had gone into this numinous religious zone at that point. I was like, yes, we are. And I'm sad to hear that you felt this way, because I thought I was
I
tripping
thought
on
you didn't
the.
believe in anything spiritual.
No, I believe in the spirit, and the numinous is not the same as the spiritual. Spiritual is a,
Dispirited.
no. I was full of spirit. I felt spirit all around me. I don't.
I had to fucking
Spiritual is-
I cycled all the way from fucking
Oh
South
yes,
London.
what happened to you? Wow.
Yeah. How did?
Yeah, what happened on your way back?
What was that
Did you
like?
get home? Right.
I had sort of tunnel vision, and I ended up going back past almost all the places we'd been. And then when we got near that fucking church, I must have taken a wrong turning, and I was
Oh, no.
cycling for miles. And I finally found Barnesbridge Station in the middle of nowhere, and they had to go up all these fucking stairs with my bloody bike, then down some stairs, then up some more stairs as the train was pulling in. And I got to the door of the train. I was frantically pressing the open button, and it wouldn't open. Then it pulled out. I had to wait for another half an
Oh.
hour for the next train. But luckily, it went to Clapham Junction, then I could cycle all the way back home from Clapham Junction, about 20 minutes. So that was okay. But that fucking Kew Bridge station was shut. Well, it certainly looked shut. It didn't look like anything was happening. All the monitor screens weren't
Oh.
doing anything. So yeah, it was okay. Funny enough, the next day my legs felt a little bit stiff, but I didn't feel that bad. Felt fine actually. Blew a
My
few
legs,
the bus
sweat-
journey home, you got,
my legs felt like bloody tree trunks the next day after that walk.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was a long walk.
yeah, because the bus back from where we went to get back to Hammersmith before we started seemed to last miles and miles.
Yeah.
So so you
Yeah.
had to get another bus back to central London, Richard?
And then the tube from Hammersmith, but the bus from where we finished the walk back to Hammersmith seemed very
Yeah, it
long
seemed to go for
journey.
Yeah,
ages.
All right.
So
Well,
the rest of you
Couldn't believe
got
we
back
walked that
okay.
far.
now this is where Simon. This is the small fountain, and this is where Simon went mad. He just would not stop
yes,
pressing the
Simon, he
water
was
to
just
come out.
pressing the water, and I was like, "What is he doing there?"
Yeah, we couldn't. He
Broke
went,
it.
And then we
Yeah, because I was
fixed it.
I'd fucking pissed off with the whole fucking thing.
Oh, I see.
I just thought, fuck this. I'm gonna drown everyone.
Good.
And Simon, you broke it momentarily. Do you remember?
Good.
The
I'm
button
glad.
got
I'm glad I
stuck.
broke it. Fucking pissed off.
200 years that have been there, Simon, working, and you come along and you tinker with it.
Because you've walked for a few hours.
Yeah, good. Good. I'm glad.
Violence.
Oh,
Poor fountain.
oh. I knew that's what it was. I just wanted him to. I just wanted to hear the explosion of rage. I just wanted to hear it. Oh God. That was priceless, man.
Ricky, you told us when we started this it's only going to be a short walk.
Oh, this is what you said.
No, I didn't say that. I said it's not very twisty turny. I didn't say it was going to be short. I said it looks like a straight line without many twisty turns.
Well, not very long.
I mean, those walks are
I
at
didn't
least
say that.
3 to 4 hours, right?
No, we've done a couple of short ones.
Okay.
Yeah, we have. We have. Anyway, this fountain. Now, listen. You know, if you've been listening at the time, not raging, you would have heard something very interesting about it. It's a small fountain dating from 1880, and it was funded by the Metropolitan Drinking Fountain and Cattle Trough Association. This association, Cattle Trough Association.
Oh,
This association was founded by Victorian philanthropists to provide the public, cattle, and horses with free drinking water.
Oh.
Look, there they are. See, look, got a human one and
oh,
animal one there.
yeah.
If you do a search, you'll see all if you type them into Google, you'll see all their troughs. Such facilities bear witnesses to the last years of horse-drawn transport in the capital before the rise of the motor car. They were also constructed at a time when the majority of the capital's population did not have clean water supplies at home, so they were dependent on public fountains like this. Who's making that noise? No? Oh, we're getting to that bit where it starts making noises again. Okay. Everybody still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a weird noise. Anyway, we passed some almshouses. Anyone knows what an almshouse is?
Yeah.
Yeah, soldiers.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
It's old people, the old folks.
It's cheap housing.
Oh.
Yeah, the old folks.
Then we entered. Then we got to Strand on the
Donald
Green.
Pleasant.
Yeah, Richard, you must send me those photos. Do we transfer them next time? Don't zip file, because I couldn't access the last ones that you zip filed to me when I tried to send them to this address. Now, look, this is Strand on the Green. There's an old photo of Strand on the Green. One of the most picturesque parts of London. Well, I would agree with that. We've got no arguments there. And containing many buildings that date from the 18th century or earlier. This first recorded as Strand in the 14th century, an Old English word for shore. And over the centuries, what was originally a village has become home to an eclectic mix of fishermen, artisans, aristocrats, and artists. It was, in fact, one of small villages that merged to form the parish of Chiswick in the 19th century. Middle of the 18th century, the riverside settlement comprised little more than a line of wharves, fishermen's cottages, almshouses, more houses, and pubs. A period of rapid gentrification followed. It became popular with wealthy businessmen and friends of the royal family, fueled by the completion of the original Kew Bridge in 1759. Many of the houses were restored in the 20th century, having fallen into decline in the intervening years. Now, all that aside, what did we see at Strand on the Green?
Can't remember.
Yours house.
You can't
saw the
remember. No,
the
Daniel,
barricaded-
because you weren't paying any fucking attention at this point.
The
Donald
barricaded
Pleasance's house.
You're
houses.
carrying on your
Midge
own
and
conversations willy-nilly.
Midger and Midger and Donald Pleasance.
Yes, they wrote the Christmas song.
No, the miniature doors. The
Ah, there is
miniature
a door,
Yeah,
yes.
doors.
the little doors, the
half
little
a
doors,
door.
and the funny little
The
step.
half-size doors.
Yeah.
Oh, those.
The Hobbit doors.
You got this
Yes,
fucking
those
old
were
picture.
impressive.
Remember it. Put a
Well,
contemporary picture up.
There you are. There's one of them. Look, I said it. That means how do you have to bend over to go in? You can't go in, or you have to slide up if you've got a bad back. You have to, you know.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman who stopped and explained
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it to us with
We
grey
didn't
hair.
need to, 'cause we just read it out the fucking book.
Are you aware what these are for? Like to
Yeah,
tell you.
patronizing Boscant.
I know. Fuck off, you fucking cunt.
Like,
The
look, come on.
midget.
You guys, who do you sound like the Droogs out of fucking A Clockwork Orange? He was just a kindly man who was trying to explain something.
He was a fucking busybody. He was
Yes.
shit.
I didn't like him.
You
No.
could sniff that we were not of
From
that.
Not of the
from
area.
this part of
Yeah,
the woods, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wandered in, got a bit lost, or got
Yeah,
lost track
well,
of it.
may I proffer my knowledge of the area? Wanker.
Yeah.
No,
course.
no.
I don't mind when people do that, but yeah, I could sense that he's a mega wanker.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Peasants. Peasants walking in an area that's forbidden.
Or townies.
Okay, and then so look, listen. If you know it all, right? How how can the water level can rise and fall by how much?
8
Several
meters.
feet.
Pardon me?
8 meters.
7 meters.
Oh.
Close.
When the moon is either new or full, the tidal water can cover the path and flood those houses where precautions are not taken. Anti-flood devices include raised up doors, glass screens, and wooden shutters. They're rendered largely redundant by the opening of the Thames Barrier in 1983, but it seems the residents are happy to keep them just in case. Well,
Case. But they look interesting as well.
I love them. I love them.
Me
I would
too,
love
me
a
too.
half side door,
Me too.
you know, or a triple sized door, one or the
Yeah.
other. Just not a normal side. I don't want a normal sized door.
It's difficult if you have to get a piano in there or something, or even a
You're
bed.
a sideboard. Yeah, double queen size mattress.
Yeah.
But these small doors were one of my favourite bits of the whole thing.
Yes.
Continue along, coming upon one of several great pubs, another pub along the final stretch of the river bank. If the tide is out, you might want to get down from the path onto the shoreline and follow the route this way, although it can be muddy. It was very fucking muddy. I ended up getting mud on my shoes. It took ages for it to get off. This
I must
is
say that there was a lot of really nice pubs along that walk that I would, I'd like to go back there and have a proper sit, enjoy those
Yes,
pubs.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Riverside
do it.
pub crawl.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's try to go to three or four pubs.
Yeah.
I don't really like pubs.
Bring our own booze.
Yeah, I prefer to sit out. I like to be outside.
Yeah, we just sit out on the fucking those just sit by the riverside. It'd be really nice.
So then why pay pub prices? Why pay £5 for a pint when you can just have a single
No, but
guinea?
they looked warm and inviting. It looked
Yes,
very
I
nice.
agree, Richard.
Yeah,
I don't like pubs either. I mean,
yeah.
The Bull's Head was one of them, one of these pubs. And by tradition, this is Oliver Cromwell on the screen here. He's the guy that abolished the monarchy and could be argued started all our troubles with Ireland by invading there. He was a frequent visitor to the Bull's Head. He was accused of war crimes in Ireland. Apparently, he was a frequent visitor to the Bull's Head to see his daughter, the Countess de Fulkenberg, who lived nearby. There's supposed to be a secret tunnel. There's supposed to be a secret tunnel out to the little island just along from the pub known as Oliver's Eye, where Cromwell has sought refuge on occasion. In reality, the Countess did not live here until after her father died, and no tunnel has yet been discovered. The actor Donald Pleasance.
Yes.
Yes. Best known for his parts in The Great Escape, Dracula, Halloween, and You Only Live Twice, as Stavros Blofeld. He lived at numbers 10 and 11 on Strand on the Green. We got a good photo of that. As you continue along, look out to Oliver's Eyot. It's the Bull's Head. That's the one. See, that's Oliver's one. Now, I would like to go out to that one day. So this is definitely somewhere that I'd like to return to.
Yeah, me too.
You pass under Kew Railway Bridge. I don't know if I've got that.
Very low one.
Yeah.
More was the picture before that. Was that Donald Pleasant's house?
No, I don't have a picture of Donald Pleasant's house. You have the picture of Donald Pleasant's house. This is Oliver's Island. Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, Oliver's Island. Boo, boo, boo.
Yes. You pass under the Kew Railway Bridge, which carries the District Line and London Overground and dates back to 1869. You've never known when you've been on the district. You've never known when you've been on the District Line that you've been over that bridge, have you? The ornate wrought iron lattice girders give the bridge some character, though the green paint looks a little faded these days. It featured in the 1964 Doctor Who episode, The Dalek Invasion of Earth. It's got that Doctor Who vibe, hasn't it?
But yeah, I felt very that the whole walk. I mean, especially the first part, it was very reminiscent of kind of 1970s TV.
Richard Torrey said it felt like all the good periods of London all smashed into one, you know.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is, if we could cut out the middle and just have the beginning and the end, it would be the perfect walk.
Yeah.
Which we could do.
Actually,
Yeah, we could do it. Yes.
we just stick to the actual river,
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah,
this
Hogarth.
there was this very large mansion and it was demolished, but there was one part of it that was kept, and there's now this large art gallery there, and I think that was beyond Kew, because we walked to Hampton Court and we definitely didn't go past it, so I think it's further up the river, and it's definitely in the north side of the river.
The City Barge Pub. Now, Simon, this presented an uncanny one of your quite common uncanny moments. Do you remember why?
No. Elaborate.
Soon you see the City Barge Pub, which has its origins in the 15th century and was originally called the Navigator's Arms. I prefer that, Navigator's Arms. It features in the 1965 Beatles film Help, when the band finally find refuge in a pub after being pursued by Clang. Ringo orders 2 lagers and a lime and 2 lagers and a lime, our kid.
Yeah.
So why did you have this uncanny moment?
It was uncanny because I've never watched the full film of Help, but practically it was probably like 2 days before this walk. I saw that. I watched that scene. That's what I watched, the actual scene. So I knew exactly what you were talking about, and it was just it's just one of those serendipitous moments.
Yeah.
How come you just watched that actual scene, but not the whole film?
I've never seen the whole thing. No, I just saw that one scene. Yeah.
How did you come to see that scene?
I was searching on YouTube, I think, for something different, and just happened to land on that particular scene. It's just, it's one of those weird things.
So you can't try to understand the uncanny, Richard. That's why it's the uncanny. It's beyond our ken. It's round the horn, beyond our ken. The actual filming took place on April 24th, 1965. In the film, Ringo falls through the floor and meets a tiger, although this scene was filmed in a studio. In recent years, the pub has been popular with television presenters Ant and Dec, whose management company is based nearby. I keep having strange noises come up, but I just did. Nobody seems to be able to hear them. So, like little
There's
men.
a few strange bits of feedback or something, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Anton Deck is death to me.
No, that was the when he brings them into that was the nadir. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be.
Fuck off. Who gives a shit about anything with Anton Deck, for God's sake?
This is supposed to be a historical tour, not fucking, hysterical.
Well, I mean, Ant and Dec are going to be historical figures, but not yet. Do you know what I mean?
Not until somebody does the world a favour by killing them.
Yeah.
Yes, if they came to a particularly grisly end, that would be worth documenting.
Yeah. And again, destroyed a parachute mine in World War II, badly destroyed over 100 nearby houses, and this. No, nothing else to say about that.
But I would love to see London pre 1940. Very different.
I just want to be, I've always wanted to live in 1960s England because I missed it. I think it would be. I just want to know what it was like.
Well, Richard lived in it.
Yeah. Full of cocktail
Not for long.
parties.
What?
And Tupperware parties.
Even when you were 7, you were going to cocktail parties, were you, Rich?
Yeah, my parents were, or Tupperware parties.
I was going to say, or nighty party.
Pardon?
Nighty party.
Nighty parties?
Yeah, they used to have these. I remember Mum had a few of them. They used to have some woman with a rail of, Brentford nylon negligees coming through the front door. And we'll be sent up to bed. So God knows what type of stuff they had.
Your parents had key parties where they all chucked their keys on the middle of the table and went home with
Unfortunately, I don't think it was quite that racy, but I think it was sort of the warm up to something more louche.
There's an impressive steel door on that City Barge pub. That's to keep the water out. But if you don't like the idea of being trapped in a pub, there's an escape route at the end of the upstairs bar. The poet Dylan Thomas occupied Ship Cottage behind Ship House. I don't have a photo, but I remember Richard took a photo of it. So anyway, we are into the very final. There's a nice photo.
Dylan Thomas, you said?
Yeah. Now, I found this walk it was like a record that sort of fades out, rather than having a great big ending. I couldn't find a photo of. Oh, here we are, the Dutch House. There we go, the Dutch House. This is called the Dutch House at number 60. It was occupied by director John Guillermin, best known for his films The Towering Inferno.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
The Blue Max, King Kong, and Death on the Nile. Well, I like 2 out of those. Inferno and King Kong, so that's not bad. German artist Johann Zoffany occupied number 65. Then, now, tell me about this. Tell me somebody about this picture.
No.
Do you know anything about this picture? Do you know anything?
You know, Christmas, like the song, wrote a song there.
Oh, right, okay. Midge.
Yeah, this is where Midge.
No, it's Christmas. Or
Yeah,
do
Midge.
they know something?
Terrible.
Midge used to live here, and it was in this studio here in 1984 that he and Bob Geldof co-wrote the Band Aid song "Do They Know It's Christmas." Look out for the Captain's Lookout, added by the first owner, Captain Zachary. That's this thing up here, yeah. You can see it where my arrow is. That's the lookout.
It's two awful men writing that terrible fucking record.
It saved Ethiopia.
It got them night and night.
It didn't save Ethiopia.
Well, what did save Ethiopia then?
Nothing.
Nothing.
That must be an expensive house.
Job done after that record came out.
Yes, Richard. Good question, Richard. It recently sold for around £7 million.
Only 7, because one earlier in the war was 11 million, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Yeah, but they have, yeah.
It looks even nicer, really. With the
No, but it's gone down in value because it's tainted by having been owned by Midge and having that terrible record.
Who wrote Fade to Grey?
Well, nobody gives a fuck about that.
Sorry.
Spiritually clean.
They were sold by Alan Smith, the former editor of the New Musical Express. He could afford to live down there. Okay, and then it sort of fades out. We've got another pub, here. The Bull and Crown, used by smugglers, supposed to have a resident ghost that turns on the beer pumps during the night.
Oh, that one, I remember.
Cafe Rouge, which we can just pass over. That's boring as fuck. Nothing to do with us. And then basically here, this is the end. Kew Bridge, which dates from 1903. The first bridge here was built in the 18th century. This stage, you can follow the signs around to Kew Bridge railway station and the end of the walk. And that's where we finished it. We went up to Tesco's, got some booze, came back down, and I wish that we hadn't had that horrible detour, because then we would have had longer to sit by the river, but as it was, we had to keep thinking about, we've got to be up by the bus stop, in about 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I did enjoy that walk a lot. It's a bloody good walk.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
If only we could just cut out that dreadful middle bit.
Yeah, that was real hell.
Apart from the underpass, I liked the underpass.
And the
I did
Spider
like that.
House.
The spider, yeah.
Yeah, Spider House. I'm going to give it.
The Spider House.
Let's do out of 10s, because I'm going to do mine as if the mistake had never happened. If the mistake had never happened, this is a 9 out of 10. Oh, this is a 9.
Yeah, I'd say 8.5 for me.
Yeah, I'd say 9.
Alice, you look like a sexy waiter that's been hired by a hen night. What's going on? I thought you had a little
bow tie on.
bow tie on.
No, it's like the hoodie.
Okay, look, we've only got 4 minutes left, so get your marks in. Daniel, out of 10.
I'm going to be very conservative and give an 8.
Okay. These are ideal marks. Remember, we're forgetting that we made the error. Richard,
Don't try and twist my arm. Giving you an 8. That's good.
all right.
I already gave mine.
What was yours?
9.
9.
I would say it's 9 because of the lovely warm and the stillness in the air made everything seem very surreal and like film setty.
Otherwise,
You know what?
Very-
Fuck it. I'm
very
going to give it.
atmospheric.
I'm going to give it a 9 because I think actually what Richard just there actually strikes a note with me. It had a very cutting that middle bit out. It felt it was the most beautiful, very clear
Mm.
sort of mid-autumn, late autumn evening. That felt very calm.
Thank you, Daniel. Panos.
No, I give it 9, only because you should have prepared some stops beforehand.
I should have prepared some what?
Some like kind of stops that we kind of sit down and we relax a little bit because it was tiring walking for 3.5 hours in a row.
Yeah, but that's because we made that bloody great big bungle of there's 2 wrong turnings.
No, but still, it was a long walk even before that.
And we didn't really mention the beginning because that was the hell arriving to meet at the Hammersmith Tube shopping mall.
Yeah, that was weird.
Horrible.
But we've got, look, let's get Simon's mark because we can get this in. We've got 2 minutes left, and I wanted to mind Simon.
8.5.
8.5. Now, anything interesting?
I loved it though. I loved it. I have to say, it was fantastic.
When I got back to Archway, I had to get off at my tube was shut, so I had to get off at a different tube. When I came out, this ugly guy was getting this beaten up in the street, and do you know what? He was so ugly. I felt that he really deserved it. You know, he was tall as well. He had 3 little lads kicking him and beating him up. And you just saw that he had started it. He was so ugly. He was such an ugly man, and he was getting beaten up. And then, you know what? Everybody was looking, and everybody was kind of, well, you know, he clearly is a bit of a wanker. So that's how it all ended for me.
Ugly inside and outside.
Yes, middle management kind of character that thinks that he can throw his weight around on the weekend. Bald with this horrible Panos. You've got a nice shaped head. This guy's head was bulbous and ugly, man. We've got 1 minute left. We don't really want to come back for another again, do we? So, final words.
But I'm chipping straight away. I want to do
evening walks from now on. Evening walks from now on.
I want to continue up the Thames on the same side of the river, beyond Chiswick, beyond Kew.
Are we going to do a Halloween walk?
Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
On the other side.
Okay.
No, on the
right.
let's do the same side because there's some really interesting buildings. And actually, the other side, there are some interesting buildings, but it's an awful lot of covered trees. You just see the river and nothing much the other side.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us, Richard.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.